Niall Ferguson, the British-American historian, has written a powerful piece at Barry Weiss's Free Press, and the piece is called Are We All Soviets Now? It compares the late Soviet Union to the United States of America today. A shocking comparison, don't you think? But Ferguson makes a compelling case that there are similarities. He highlights some persistent problems of America's society, its economy, its politics, its foreign policy, and its culture, perhaps most of all, its culture, because a sort of decay in the culture of America, particularly amongst American elites, is a major concern of Niall Ferguson. And we've seen this recently in videos he's done with Jordan Peterson. He fears the failure of American elites to sense reality is going to lead to their defeat in their Cold War with China. He concludes his piece by saying, are we, that is America, are we, the Soviets? Look around you. And he urges people to face the reality of a crumbling American state. I applaud Niall Ferguson in his aim to wake up America to their problems. But given his advocacy of American imperial, you could say, interests over decades, a lot of people have read his article as a signal of distress amongst American elites, a bit of an acceleration of an end of empire moment. But the more common reaction has really been to shut the ears to it. There's been a bit of blowback from the many people in America who still believe in American exceptionalism and take offense to being compared to the evil Soviet empire. The Dispatch, for example, responded to Niall Ferguson's article by saying, "We're a non-evil empire. People want to come here, not leave, and we could fix all our problems if we just applied our founding principles." Ferguson replied, "It's pure cope." Ferguson's provocation, I guess, caricatures, I think, the history of the Soviet Union and its collapse in the 1980s and early 1990s. But it correctly identifies many weaknesses in America today. But the real weakness of his comparison is comparison itself. He does not identify the unique path to failure of the American empire. That sense of reality, that sense of very particular historical reality in this moment and in this place is what Isaiah Berlin, in his essay on political judgment, described as the core skill of political judgment. Isaiah Berlin used to also say that, repeat Immanuel Kant's line that the crooked timber of humanity was never made straight. Every human historical problem is unique. We are not all the Soviets now. The collapse of the Soviet Union emerged from its unique circumstances in the 1980s and early 1990s, and a failure to bend with the wind. America is in a very, very different storm today. But, and here Niall Ferguson is right, it is failing to learn from that example. I wrote about this theme in an essay in 2023. It was one of my first essays as a kind of public writer, and it was called "The Crooked Timber of an Unhappy, Dangerous American Empire." And it started this way, with a famous allusion to Tolstoy's Anna Karenina. "All happy empires are alike. Each unhappy empire is unhappy in its own way. The happy empire believes the gods smile on its homeland. Its civilization is uniquely endowed with gifts to see further than other peoples. Its constitution is an act of genius. Its armed forces the greatest ever assembled. Its powers undying. Its domination is a gift of order to the world. Its culture holds the greatest stories ever told. Its museums, the graceful custodians of the loot of the world. But each happy empire becomes unhappy, and then the stories twist back into crooked timber. Some empires collapse fast, some slow. Sometimes they fight back. Sometimes they throw themselves in front of trains like betrayed lovers, like Anna Karenina. Sometimes we narrate the fall of empire as tragedy, sometimes as fast. But unhappy empires are dangerous. So much depends today on knowing the unique, unhappy way of the American empire. And in the rest of this piece, which I'm republishing on my Substack, jeffrich.substack.com, I talk about the very special path that American empire seems to have taken, a belief not just in its exceptionalism, but in its impunity. And this impunity is so dangerous. It's the bubble of impunity that I think Niall Ferguson should be congratulated for trying to burst. But it seems, sadly, despite his articulate, brilliant, forceful essay in Barry Weiss's publication, the American exceptionalists of both the left and the right and the centre are blocking their ears to the message. Ferguson's attempt to shame America by comparing it to its defeated, humiliated enemy may well fail. But we should also learn from his failure. We should also seek to truly understand the nature of the Soviet Union's collapse and the American Union's unique, unsteady gait to the end of its empire. If you'd like to read the whole essay, subscribe to my free weekly Substack at jeffrich.substack.com. You'll get a weekly essay on world history and culture to help you reimagine the world with some quality world history.